Hello, happiness abounder, and welcome back. So, we're continuing our theme week all about what we can do in our journal besides writing about the events of the day and how they made us feel, which is super awesome and valuable. But if you're looking for something a little more, a little next level, then this week has been for you. So I'm going to take it to that next level again today by using an exercise or explaining an exercise that I absolutely love. I love doing this. So, what is it? I like to write my, I'm going to say, intuitive to-do list. So often I'm like, okay, here's my goal. I know I should probably be doing X, Y, Z, but like, what are the other things I need to do to get here? What are the relationships I need to heal? Who are the people I need to talk to? And that all gets caught up in my head. So instead, I write it out in my journal. So what does that really look like? That looks like some moments of silence. That looks like saying my declaration or saying my goal. And then writing down in my journal everything that comes to my mind that I need to do to achieve that goal or to become that person. I did this for the first time about a year ago, and I did it in my journal, and I'm so glad I did. I think too often we're like, oh, I'm just going to write this on a list here, and the list gets misplaced. It's stuck under the seat in your car by the end of it, and like, it just doesn't quite have the impact that it can have if it's in your journal. And there's also this whole thing of like flipping back to your journal and be like, haven't done that yet, haven't done that yet, and being able to talk about that in your journal. So what does this like actually look like? So I had a goal that I was going to teach a vision board class. Funny enough, because I have another vision board class coming up on July 13th, 2019, depending on when you're listening to this. But in 2018 was my first ever class to teach. And I'd chosen vision boards. And I didn't quite know where to start, didn't quite know what to do, who to connect with, etc. So I wrote out in my journal, I want to do this vision board class. What do I need to do to achieve this goal? And I just wrote down everything that came to my mind. Ended up being a pretty expansive list. Doesn't have to be this big, doesn't have to be this long. This is what worked for me, but maybe it's capping at 10, maybe it's capping at 5. Do not feel overwhelmed by the number I'm going to say. You can do what you need to do for you. But my first list was 30 things that I needed to do. And I was like, okay, that's a lot to do this class. Like, that's a lot of things I need to do this class, but great. That's what I need to do to put this on. That's what I need to do. And some of them took a little bit more time and effort than others. Whether it was something bigger that needed to be done, so I needed to set aside a certain amount of time in my week, or something that was small, but something that was holding me back, that I was not wanting to do. So I procrastinated on that one, or those few. And as soon as I did them, things started to fall into place, which is really cool. And I had some stuff that was completely unrelated. For instance, I had a plant that was kind of teetering on the edge. Like, it was healthy, but it constantly needed attention. Like, it was healthy and then it wasn't. It was healthy and then it wasn't. It was healthy and then it wasn't. And we were living in a spot that wasn't like optimal for this plant, and it was really struggling. And part of my to-dos was to throw away this plant. I was like, that's really interesting. Like, why? I could save it. I could do this. And then I realized that it was taking a lot of mental and emotional energy to try and salvage this plant when I could easily, and I don't usually recommend this. I'm the person, people are like, I'm throwing my plant away. I'm like, oh, no. Give it to me. I'll take care of it. But I had this list, and intuitively, I felt like I needed to throw away this plant if I wanted to reach my goals. So, threw away the plant. And I did reach my goal. I did teach the class. I teach classes all the time now. And like I said, I have another vision board class coming up on July 13th, and I'm really excited for it. But I very firmly believe that if I hadn't written this list out and I hadn't written it in my journal, it's a key component there, and I'll say why in a minute. If I hadn't written it in my journal, it wouldn't have had the impact. I wouldn't have been able to get through all of them. I wouldn't have been able to be like, this is solidified. This is an important document for me, an important to-do list. So I'm going to cherish it. It's in my journal. I'm going to flip back and make sure that I'm crossing things off my list. And then I'm going to write about them, right? So the emotional expression that came from, I threw away the plant today. And man, it felt way better than I thought it would. Like, it just lightened me up. It was really cool, and I can write about that. And now I'm filling my journal with what I'm doing for my to-do list, but I've also taken all of that I should do, I could do, I would do, if I had the time, all of those thoughts that come to us all day long about, what can I do to achieve my goal? And you start getting a list in your head. Well, what happens? If you don't write it out, you forget it. And then you're like, what was it I was going to do? That was a great idea, and now I don't remember it. But here's the thing about putting it in your journal. Since then, I've done this exercise several times. And it may just be me, something to test for yourself, but every time I just do it in a random piece of paper, a list on the fly, I never complete the list. And it's because the paper sits on my desk, and then it's in the kitchen, and then it's on the couch, and then it's by my bedside, and then it gets left for 4 days because I'm carrying it around with me everywhere. Whereas my journal, I always know where it's at. It's in the same spot every day. I know exactly where I can go to look at my list. And, as you know, I journal in the morning, so I can look back and go, okay, what can I do on the list today? And it sets everything up for success. Now, again, this may or may not correlate for you, but it's what's working for me, and so I thought I would share. So a great thing to do in your journal is write down the list of the things that you may need to do to achieve your goals. And the other benefit bonus of this is that things that are unrelated will come up. Like throwing away a plant has nothing to do with teaching a vision board class. But it lightened me emotionally and mentally. It decluttered my space. It had all these other benefits that allowed me to be better and better go for my goal of teaching the class. So I hope that this idea excites you as much as it excites me. First off, I love to-do lists, but I also love this concept of, what do I need to do that I can't see? That doesn't seem obvious. For instance, if my goal is to lose weight, yeah, I probably should be working out. Yes, I probably should be eating healthy. I should probably get some workout clothes. I should do this, should do this, should do this. But then doing a list like this is, what do I need to do to achieve my goal? You need to forgive that person in your life. Whoa. Right? Forgiving someone doesn't feel like it has anything to do with weight loss. But maybe we're holding those emotions in our body and it's expanding. Right? You never know. So writing a list, putting it in the, dare I say, sacred space of your journal can make such a difference and really help you see how everything's interconnected in the bigger picture of your goal achievement and give you more stuff to write about, which is awesome. So I'm going to leave you with that today. If you have any questions about writing the letter to your body, about writing a letter to your higher power, or about this answers to your questions, this intuitive to-do list, please let me know. You can find me at happinessabound.com, Happiness Abound blog on Facebook, and happiness_abound on Instagram. And if you liked this episode, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe on your listening podcast platform of choice. And ideally, that would be Apple Podcasts, because I'm not sure the other podcast platforms have a review section. So if you listen on Apple, be sure to leave a review. It's as easy as a 5-star click or writing a quick, hey, this episode was fantastic, make sure to check it out. If you listen on an Android device and don't have Apple Podcasts, but you do have Facebook, go to facebook.com/happinessaboundblog and you can leave a review there. That helps everybody else find this Happiness Abound community and join us as we work together to be happier in our lives. So that said, have a wonderful day. Write down that intuitive to-do list, and above everything else, remember, you are capable of happiness abound.